What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be installing the Bonamici engine covers. The reason I'm installing the Bonamici engine covers, well, for one, I have the Bonamici rear sets, so I want them to match since they're right next to each other. But I need engine covers because this is plastic. I think it doesn't look that good, and also if you low side, this is gonna go off like paper. But there's another reason. Behind this plastic cover, there's foam. Probably maybe to mitigate the engine sound, I'm not sure why, but that foam, every time you wet the bike, wash it, or if it rains, that water goes in there and it can soak into that foam, and that foam can become nasty. I wanna remove that, so today I'm gonna do Bonamici engine covers. Okay, to remove the engine covers, very easy actually. All the bolts are exposed. These are all 8 millimeters, but some of these bolts are behind the fairing. So I'm gonna start removing the belly pan, and hopefully I don't have to remove the entire fairing. It's just unbolted so I can make enough space to get the ratchet behind there. So I'm gonna start with these two 4 millimeter hex for the belly pan. Okay, now underneath we have two 3 millimeter bolts. One is right here, and one is right here in the front, over there. Okay, since I'm going to have to do the other side too, I'm going to remove the belly pan completely by removing the other two 4 millimeters from the other side and remove the entire belly pan. Okay, now the two screws are removed from the other side. Just remove the belly pan and remove this 4 millimeter hex right here. And hopefully this will make enough space to remove the engine cover. This obviously is not enough space to go under there, so I'm gonna remove these two 4 millimeter hex also. Okay, so removing these bolts is not enough to create more space, so we will have to remove the 3 clips that are behind the fairing. I don't have the tool with me to remove it, so I just used my key and just pry it open. So you don't always need tools for everything. There you go. Clip is out. And remove the next two up here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, by removing these clips, now we have enough space. All we need to do is just go in there, so we can remove that bolt over here, and there's one up there. The ratchet will fit here, and unscrew them. They don't need a lot of force to unscrew anyway, so I want to avoid removing the tire fairing just for the engine covers. So create some space and you're good to go. These are 8 millimeters. Let's start removing one by one. You don't have to remove these, just the ones for the cover, the plastic cover. If you're not sure, hit on it, metal, plastic. Next one here. So some are longer than the other ones, so keep track of them, or what was longer and shorter if you need to reinstall it. So we have one more in here. So you can pull the fairing with the ratchet inside with 8 millimeter and ratchet down. This screw over there, and the other one is right there. There you go. I mean, it's a little tight in there. If you truly want to, you can just remove the entire fairing. I didn't. I just want to have less screws to unbolt and bolt later. So now that all the bolts are removed, we can go ahead and start. So you can hear, it's like the suction. There you go. With the foam, look at this. This is exactly what I'm talking about. dirt, water, it's kind of moist. Yeah, this is something I don't want in my engine. If you can also look here, look at this. It's just not looking good. Dirt everywhere. This is something you can't really wash when you wash your bike. So, and there's also a spacer right there, which I'll probably have to remove right there. All right, let's install the Bonamici covers. So before you install the engine covers, I want to tell you a few tips about these spacers. Once you remove the cover, you'll have these spacers left over here. Make sure you re-torque these spacers, because when you remove the bolt, you unscrew it, this can budge a little bit. Make sure they're up to torque specs. For now, I just used Bonamici torque specs, which is at 10.7 Newton meters. That's why they recommend for their own engine cover bolts. So I just use the same ones here for now. The only spacer that you can remove is this. And why? It's because the only long screw that we have that we remove from the engine covers is only this, only one. So the short screws, if you remove this spacer, the short screw is not enough to grab into the threads of the engine. So don't reuse the short screws to replace the spacers. But because I only have one long, I will replace this spacer with a long screw. Only this, just because it's the one that's the most visible, the one that's protruding out here. So in the case of a low side, I don't want this spacer here to have contact with the road. To remove the spacer, you will need a 6mm hex. Remove the whole spacer. There's also a washer I'm going to reuse on the longer bolt right here. Use blue Loctite and rescrew it. And torque this. At 10.7 Newton meters. Now to install the Bonamici cover, first of all, these spacers don't come installed. I already pre-installed them. Everything is in instructions. It's extremely easy to follow. So basically I pre-installed these, torqued them at 10.7 Newton meters. Also, you can see it here. They are the M6T CEI 10.3 Newton meters. I did 10.7, it's fine, it's all good. So to install the cover, we'll need these two. We'll have to replace these two bolts here, and these two will replace these two bolts right here. So we'll remove these four and reinstall them with the provided bolts and length for each that the instructions are telling us to follow. So I'm going to start with these two. Very easy to remove. Torque is very low. I have to check the manual because I have a feeling that on the manual these will be 12 Newton meters, not 10.3, but I have them at 10.7. It's all good. If it's 12, I'll recheck and just come and retorque them at 12. But for now, I'm just following the instructions from Bonamici. Okay, once you remove these both bolts here, this bracket will come loose. You will not need to reuse it. This bracket was there for the original engine cover, so no need to reuse this. Now we have 1, 2, 3, and 4 open spots to install the cover. Now we're gonna get the engine cover. We'll have to align all the bolts here, one by one. This is going to be tricky because you also have to install all the spacers based on the instructions. These right ones are the 40s. This is the 45. And the bottom one is the 50. M6 by 50. So follow the instructions, align the screws. Now you can go ahead and torque these at 10.3. I'm still doing 10.7 though. Torqued, and we're all set. The other side is a little more simple. We have 1, 2, 3 bolts to remove the cover. At least I see 3. We might find that there's another one. 1, 2, and 3. I also repeated the same process in the fairing. The exact same bolts I removed on the right side, I removed the left, only so I can get into this bolt here. We definitely have one more here and probably one more right here. Also all 8mm. Okay, if you pull it, also foam, and there you go. I'm having trouble installing the cover, so I think I have to also remove this spacer here. Okay, now that this spacer is also removed, I'm gonna start with these two and the spacers. And that screw over here. All right. Okay. That's all good too. All right guys, install is complete and this looks so good. I knew there was something missing there. I kept looking at my bike and I was thinking, I need a part, I just don't know what it is, and this was the one. It's such a small part and yet it makes such a difference aesthetic wise, also protection. But now I feel my bike is so much more complete. Guys, stay tuned because next install will be the red Samco radiator hoses. But before I install those Samco radiator hoses, I actually want to go take the bike out for a ride because ever since I installed the Bonamici clip-ons and the triple clamp, and I also did the domino grips, believe it or not, I have not taking out the bike for a ride yet. So I don't even know how it feels riding it. So I will do a ride review on this setup next. Let you know how it feels. Let you know how the Bonamici clip-ons feel that they're longer. Even the grips, I will let you know how they feel that they're a little bit thinner, feel a little more grip. And after the ride review, it will be Samco radiator hoses. Thank you for watching guys. If you like this video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.